And we're back. Okay, so we're going to put the little bird down. This is an example of painted paper that I had cut out, and I had just glued it down to the little outline, that the little pattern that comes with you. So I have some wax paper under me, and because this is just like what we're going to glue the pattern down to, you could at this point use a glue stick, or you could move over to your medium gel. Now, if you were pasting everything down to your substrate, you could, if your substrate is not waterproof, you would use a glue stick. If you had a waterproof substrate, like this notebook, it's waterproof. Like if you spilt water on this glossy, it's not going to bubble. So if you wanted to use a substrate that is waterproof, you could use your matte medium gel. So this one's not waterproof, like it's just paper. So this one you would use like a glue stick, and something that's smooth and you could spill water or liquid on it and it would go away, you can use your gel mix. Because this is like a pattern, this part won't matter too much if you use your glue stick or your matte medium gel, because this part is just going to be cut out and it's going to be used for something going onto your substrate. So you could go either way. I have some wax paper under me. I think I'm just to go easy, I'm just gonna put some glue stick on their little head. You do not have to stay in the lines. This is parchment paper. I'm gonna press down on what I just laid down. Okay, press it down. So you don't have to stay in the lines, because when you're done, you can cut the lines away. So you don't have to worry about that part. Okay, maybe their little belly. And this is pretty easy right now. So you don't have to stay in the line on any of this. Just do your best. If I would try to piece your patterns together. If that means that you didn't get into the line somewhere else, I would focus more on piecing your patterns together. Okay, let's just lay this down. Some kind of non-sticky wax paper for parchment paper. All right, now we'll get a little wing over here. And you can go over the top of some of the other pieces already there. I'm just putting him together. You can overlap a little bit. Yep. Okay. And let's see, this part. If there's any gaps that you're really worried about a lot, you can fill it in with the marker later on. Just kind of, and you could bend things so it doesn't have to match up all the way. Okay. All right, their tail might be way off on this one. That's okay. Just, yeah, if things are way off, and you can move it, like if you want it to move their tail any which direction, that's okay here. You can totally make this your own. And I have quite a few feet. Okay, I have lots of little feet over here. I had left this together so I would know. And right here, there's a little piece of paper. You don't have to worry about cutting that out right now because you're going to cut this whole thing out anyways. So you could go ahead and put that down. The feet do not have to match up all the way. Just put it where you want the little feet. This is pretty much for a guide. So yeah, it's just for a little guide. Okay, mash the feet down. And we have to fold this paper up. All right, so that worked really good just with the glue stick. Do not, don't worry if it didn't go out of line because we're going to go ahead and just cut this out. All right, so yeah, now you're going to focus more on your patterns that you cut out. And if anything's popping up, you could glue that down a little bit better before or after. It's totally up to you. Okay, we're just going to cut this out. And you can cut some of this away. But if it's in the way, you can cut it away. You could wait for this to dry if you think it'd be easier to wait for some of this glue to dry. You could do that also. I'm just going to cut some of this away. Yeah, it's sticking together. All right. You can bend these a little bit. If it didn't match up, you could even cut off a little bit of the collage paper if it makes sense wherever you're cutting. Yeah, I still have glue everywhere. So if you want to wait for this to dry, yeah, you could wait for it to dry. It's okay. It might be better instead of like, mine's wet. Okay, and if you weren't in line, you can cut out the lines so you don't have to worry about being in line. Yeah, don't worry about being in line. And also, if you don't cut all of the white off, don't worry about that either, because when we go to finish things up, we can color this in with like a black pen. If there's a little bit of white, we could color that in with a pen. So don't worry about that. The same with the feet, like just do your best. If you feel like you're able to cut all the white off, go ahead. If it's too difficult, you could leave some of the white on and just color it in when you're finished. So I got his feet totally off pattern, so I'm not going to worry about where the pattern was for the feet. I'm going to try to go more on where I ended up. So like right here, I had gotten out of line, and let's see, mine's really, my glue is still wet. It's probably easier to let your glue dry. So that's where I had gotten out of line. Over here also. And you could get your smaller scissors out. Okay, yeah. Get your smaller scissors out. Might help out a little bit. Turn your little bird. If things bend, it's okay, because it'll straighten out in the next steps. All right. Mine is like really wet. I might not cut all this out. I might show, what I would do if it wasn't all cut out. I think I might do that because this one's like really wet, and then that way it would give me a way to show how to do it without it. All right. I got glue sticking to my fingers. So I'm gonna leave this one here, and then that way I can show you what to do if you don't want to cut all these little tiny pieces out. So I'm just gonna leave that here. I'm gonna put it over on this substrate and move some things out of the way. So now what you have is you'll have a little bird, and you can kind of figure out the if you're like me, you probably have a few different birds, and you can figure out which one you want to use. Or if you have a few different birds and you want to use 2 birds, go ahead. That would be fun also. That actually probably would be fun. I don't know, I might do that. I haven't done one with 2 birds. I'm kind of liking that. You don't have to worry if they're not sitting on a stick, because you could put paper in later. And yeah, I'm almost liking that this is 2 birds. I'll have to think about. All right, yeah, choices. So now, because this is paper, you want to stay with your glue stick. And let me figure out exactly what I want to, if I want to do this one here. Okay, I'm just going to think about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do 2 birds right this minute, or if I'm just going to do 1. You know what? I might. Okay, for this one, because it's on paper, I think I'm going to do 1. If I was doing like on canvas board, I would probably do 2. All right, I'm just going to do this here. So this is pretty much where I'm going to put it. I'm going to see if I have anything to mark. If you can kind of remember where things are, you can. If you want to kind of do a little, like little marks also, you can kind of just lift up where you think things are going to go. And under it. You don't want it on the outside. You want it under. Okay, so I kind of have a little bit of a where I know they're going to go. I'm going to go, because this is not waterproof, I'm going to use glue stick. If I get out of space, it's okay. If you rather would take your bird and put them on some parchment paper and just cover your entire bird, you could go that way also. I think I might actually like it this way. I think I like this way better. Yeah. Okay, I like that way. That was my favorite for the time. Now it's got all the little stickies, and I kind of knew where my little bird's going. Oh yeah, I like that. Don't use wet paper if you just use one that's wet. Okay, this side's wet, but this side is dry, so I could go ahead and put it down with the dry side. Of course, you're gonna get glue on your fingers, so it's better if you have a totally dry wax paper. You do not want the wet side going on your paper, because it would rip things. Okay, there we go. Yay! Oh my gosh. All right, everybody is doing really good. So, at this point, you could either do markers in here, or you could just go in and fill out with more papers everywhere. This one had more papers added to it. So I think I will do some of both. And let me just get some papers. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a little bit of both right now. So you can just get various papers, and oh, this one kind of has like little flowers. It came with it, but this one also had paper added. There was some paper added to make these little flowers pop up a little bit. So if you have like little flowers right here and you want to cut little flowers out and make them pop up, if you want to cover up the sides, you can do a lot of things now. I think I'll make some little flowers. Let me tear off a little piece just so I can show how to like embellish everything. And so this is printed out, but this was actually a piece of paper that I put on top, and I went in and added more paper and more texture onto these. You could do it a few different ways. You could cut out more paper and put things anywhere you want. It doesn't have to match up. Or later you could go in with Sharpies or different ink pens or crayons or whatever you have, and you could just fill things in. So, but make sure everything is dry, because if you're using like paint markers or Sharpies or anything, you don't want to get like paint on the tip of your markers. So I'm going to wait for that to dry. I think I'll go ahead and put a little bit of flowers on this one. I'm just going to tear it. So I'm just tearing little flowers, and I have a lot of, and it doesn't have to stay in their exact place. You can just put like, you can move them around where you want. I like to tear paper when I can, if it's a natural thing like a flower. A lot of times you can tear on animals too. You like tear your paper and get more of a natural look, and that just kind of depends on what you're doing. So okay, there. Now I've got some little flowers. If you want to add to what you already have, like the branches, you could add to the branches anywhere. You could pretty much just take paper and go around and add any interest thing that you would like to have. And I'm kind of just looking at my papers. I have a lot of papers over here, so I might just kind of look at a bunch of papers that I have. I had this one printed out a few times. Let's see. And they don't have to be the exact same. You can add them in different places. This one was some tissue paper added in. I'm not sure if I have any green right now. I'd have to. I have some blue. I think I might do something with the blue. All right. Maybe I'll do something with the blue. And you can change these up. So yeah, maybe I'll do a little blue square to show how I would have done that. Okay, just little blue. I might put a little blue square there. And this one had green, but you can change things. I don't know, something fun, and it doesn't have to be. It can change also if you want it to go up or down, or if you want to move it around. It doesn't have to stay. All right, I'm going to go make sure everything is glued down, really good. I might add some more colors here and there, and then I will come back and show how to put finishing touches on. Okay, everybody is doing really good. Thank you.